Quick yawn.
It's like they're looking at me.
I like the 4-second wait because it gives me time to think. This is all unusable.
Who were your favourite characters and why?
Can't choose yourself, no. Okay. Sorry, could you answer the question again, please? Yeah.
Well, I have to start with Sister Mayhem, just because Hayley's portrayal of her was so creepy, in a good way. Yeah, she was amazing to work across from, but also because it's a female villain, and I have a weird obsession with like having more female villains that are like proper badass and terrifying. So being able to work alongside someone that was portraying a character like that was awesome. And Sister Mayhem herself is weird and creepy because she's a nun with an eye patch, and it's just brilliant.
I really like the juxtaposition of what's going on in Ivy's real life, where she's having to kind of like battle the demons and face the demons, and also the juxtaposition of it. I think that works really well. I think a lot of the imagery works really well as well, and a lot of the symbolism works really well. The use of colour with Ivy wearing a lot of blue and white, referencing things like Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland, or those kind of like supernatural worlds.
I'm going to say Sister Mayhem because Hayley, who played Sister Mayhem, I thought she was absolutely fantastic. Just her character as well, just being absolutely relentless.
I think my favourite character in the film was actually Ivy, the central character. She was my favourite, only because I think she was very layered, told a great story herself, and I do sympathise with her. That's why she was my favourite. I did like Sister Mayhem as well. I think Sister Mayhem's character had some real good sass to the.
Favourite character would have to be definitely the Traveller. I thought he's inspired by the Merchant from Resi 4. I've always liked the kind of guys that just know what's going on and have that kind of omnipresence to them, as opposed to being thrust into the story. It's always nice to have a level head to keep everything grounded, and the actor was a really cool guy as well, which helped.
I think my favourite characters are the three heroes that you see in the Arcane Quest world. Sabat, Carrion and Odette, because they're just so funny. Like, the characters just work so well together, and I was like, yeah, they're just really funny, and they have some really good one-liners. And it was a nice little humour break from all the action.
I'd like to go back to the dungeon now.
I think one of the things that worked really well in Zero Lives was that the characters that she comes across while she's inside the video games, they seem to have like this scripted response. So when she's discussing things with them, they don't respond like by answering her questions or whatever. They carry on as if they're performing their role in the game, you know. So it's a nice little sort of I say realistic, but it's a video game.
That was a weird quest.
My favourite character was actually Sister Mayhem, because we didn't really know what sort of character that we wanted and what they wanted to portray, but as soon as Hayley walked in, she had this like pure evil about her, and it was just so good the way that she presented the character. So I just love the way she does it.
And one of my other favourite characters is a bit of a weird one, but it was one of the zombies. So there's, again, I don't know whether this is a spoiler, there's a zombie that I hit, and he's just one of my favourite characters just because he's so good at being a zombie. He just nailed it, and every time that he was in a scene as a zombie, he just did so well. And he's one of my favourite characters, even though he's like a minor character. Just one of my favourites. I mean, all of them are my favourites, but if I had to pick out like two, those ones stand out to me more.
I can't really say I've got a favourite character, but I like all the characters for different reasons. So Ivy, I like how she's sort of the damsel in distress, but she is actually her own hero as well. She has to be the hero of the story. So the fact that there's not a lot of female representation of gamers within films, it's always just the male teen who's doing this and doing that, blah, blah, blah. But it's nice to sort of have a female who also kicks some butt, I guess. But then at the same time, you've got the fantasy heroes. I just like their sort of dynamic. They're sort of not what they should be in terms of the heroes are very strong and they're very brave, but these guys are they're not organized. That was quite nice to sort of play with. I chose those kind of specific worlds because they were sort of games that I liked or games that I thought would be interesting with their characters. So yeah, can't really answer that question, unfortunately.
Probably should have started with that.